Who am I talking to?
Talking to Etienne.
Yeah, it's always good to have you, bro. Jeez, mate, we couldn't do these groups without you. Like the stuff we're pulling is just impossible.
It's like the level of work that we're doing is it's like it's way beyond what anyone could have been expecting or could do on their own. It took us. We all got really hammered, got really to the edge of getting taken out to survive, top level ourselves, but really it's getting together in teams that we can really move forward.
Well, look, I think we can all agree that planet Earth almost went into a death spiral, very, very close in the last couple of years, really close. And and I know you've been fighting this on your own for a long time, and you've had various people helping you, but they come and they go, they come and they go, and I've had the same experience.
Come and go, and some were imposters, some flipped, and got some all kind of experiences.
But not everybody's got the stomach to be a spiritual warrior and actually put themselves on the line to fight for Earth. And some
have the stomach to pretend to be on my and to work on my side when they're double-sided snakes.
God bless those ones. Yeah.
but a lot of people they're talking about, they don't want to be on Earth and how it's hell, but actually it's not just Earth. What's happening here, it's happening across the universe, across the multiverse, across the omniverse. It's like happening everywhere at once. And when we look at the state of
the entire galaxy is under threat of collapse. Like
entire galaxies, many universes have collapsed. Many planets have been destroyed.
Yeah, totally. Like it's Earth is like a domino, and the collapses have already started in other places, And if we got to stand up, we got to light the torch, because
when the mess started here, 33 planets in the Andromedian sector got harvested, entire planet harvest, so the entire energy gets soaked up into forming kind of like a
it just makes the monsters who do it nastier and stronger.
And that's the energy that got sent away right before the entire Andromedian sector got frozen in time. So really what's happening here is it could be worse, a lot worse.
Well, look, if we can push back this wave, it'll just make us better positioned to push back the next wave, because those guys just do not stop. Well, look, I know that you wrote a blog article about the Pleiadians this week, and I published a video that said a lot of things about the Pleiadians as well. And so the point of today's exercise is to interview the commander of the Pleiadian group on Earth, whoever's number one there.
And something I want to, you just published a video channeling Sophia. Sophia also ends up being my daughter, so that's why I've been working past 2 years nonstop on that.
Yeah, it's a project of such size, like it's impossible. And I know that you've targeted Sophia in the past, but doing it solo, you weren't going to get there. I've targeted Sophia in the past, and I gave up because I knew doing it solo I wasn't going to get there. And there's also other members of the Australian team who did exactly the same thing. Like, it was never going to work without a team. We were never going to flip her without a team. And this innovation of Astral Warriors coming together, I don't know, like, how much stronger do you think we are than alone, if we're together than alone?
It's by working, like I wrote in the last article published, working in teams of 2 to 4 people is really where the game is at. When I'm on my own, there's a time I barely catch up to keep at water level. It's like I'm kind of like going underwater. I'm just trying to keep my head above water. When I got to at least one other person or 2 other people working together, that's when I'm really making progress and I'm moving forward. Yeah. But up to 4 people works great. But as you had the experience, more than 4, then it kind of gets diluted and everybody kind of pulling a bit of a lack of focus.
Gets a bit muddy.
It gets more messy.
But
2 to 4 people is really where the game is at.
Yeah, but when you and I go out together, like, I'm stunned at the things that happen. I am absolutely flabbergasted by the places we end up and the things we end up doing. Like, it's
if it's just the two of us, it's like it's we have like really clear focus. We go straight to it.
Next level. It's just places I hadn't even imagined or conceived of before. But all of that to one side. Let's get ourselves that Pleiadian commander.
So yeah, I just want to explain something. It's like in the community, there's a lot of good press about the Pleiadians and a lot of bad press about the Orions, and it's kind of granted that way. And and I'm the commander of the Orion Federation, and that's the team that I'm working with, and I can talk a lot about it. That the Orion Federation, Buddha used to be the emperor of the Orion Federation, and with his wife Elohim, until the Federation collapsed 12,300 years ago. And then the Dracos took over. Many of the planets, either they adapted with it or they put a quarantine bubble around their planets and insulated themselves. Yeah, now they've broken the quarantine bubble recently, so those planets are coming back out, and the Federation is coming back on its feet, and the reptilians, they're really getting kicked out.
They're getting a hiding. They're getting an absolute hiding. And actually, I will say, from one of the we've got somebody who's in talks with the one of our team members, the Australian team, is in talks with the reptilians, and they're scared of extermination right now. Total extermination, their entire species being destroyed. That's what they're afraid of, which is the perfect time for all of these other guys to end their quarantine and come out of hiding.
Yeah. So
and it was Earth. I just want to make the point. It was Earth where the back of the reptilian army was broken. Dudes like you and me. Thank you to all the unsung heroes.
So I was looking at this point, what percentage of Orion, so Orion, there's good and bad people. Pleiadian, there's good and bad people. So before I watched the video you just published, I just measured what percentage of Orion influence is positive and negative. And I measured, now there was just recently a major operation in Arcturus that's really neutralized the negative.
Yeah, they're out of the picture for the time.
That's really shifted. Before that, it was 32% negative. Now it's like 92% positive, 8% negative, more or less.
Yeah, it's a much shrunken number, but
so
like any culture, like any culture, there's bad apples in the barrel,
Yeah. So about 92% positive, and right now the Orion Federation is really the only federation in the universe that's standing strong.
Well, I'll also make the point that the Galactic Federation of Light that everybody's got so enamored with is a toothless tiger at the moment. Like, their fleets have been decimated, like they're scattered. They're not a strong force at all anymore. I don't know why anybody's listening to them, or why we're in contact with them, because like their opinion and their influence isn't worth very much in a galactic political situation. I mean, the only thing they really have left to trade is technologies. They don't have any ground forces. They don't have any navies to speak of. Like, I'm not sure why they've got such a good name here in it, but I don't know.
They got 3 ships left and about 312 people. So they're a colony that's just struggling to survive, and they're too desperate to really come from an altruistic angle. They're desperate for resources, for a place to live. So they really need to they need to focus on they need to focus on
getting
themselves.
Yeah, getting the stuff back together, getting themselves.
Yeah. So they're not in a position to really be helping us. And the Galactic Federation, there's like the GFL, that's kind of like more kind of like Earth based, and then there's Federation of Light that's like in higher dimension. And was looking for them. They actually had a battle with a huge monster that collapsed 16 multiverses.
Oh,
And
was that the one? Was that the one we met? Did we meet?
Yeah,
that
it was
one?
the one we were looking
Yeah.
after. So
Yeah,
we found that
and we were just too scared to go too close to.
yeah. So they sealed themselves out, and there's like it's like there's one survivor and a half, like very bad shape. They're all dead, and they seal themselves purposely. So they do not want to be found, and they don't want anyone.
Well, look, well, they don't want that they don't want that
and
monster wreaking havoc through the multiverse, and if they can hold it down while the rest of us come together in a preparation to destroy it, then we've got a chance. But as it stands, like they gave it their best and they got their asses kicked.
So I gotta admire and really give my thanks to their sacrifice, but they're not there anymore to help us. And that's a lot of groups been falling like that. But at least they failed of their own choice by sacrificing themselves and taking a big target along with it. And that's admirable.
Oh, yeah, no, it's that's a very honorable sacrifice. It's definitely service to others and not service to self.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was looking at the Pleiadian, what percentage good influence, bad influence, and actually I was measuring.
I'm getting in the half region, but that the good guys are in a regime that doesn't allow for them to behave the way cause them to go against their own morals.
You get half 45% of the Pleiadians are in the energetic agreement with the Orions, but the leadership structure is corrupted. So that's the problem. Those who get involved, those who have the power.
So we're describing the same thing.
It's more 88% negative and 12% positive.
Yeah, well, look, a lot of those people in the, what do you call that, Nazi authoritarian dictatorship or whatever is going on with the Pleiadians right now are literally hiding their true intentions. They can't let them go.
So, and when I did that reading, I was really surprised by both reading that there was so little negative influence from Orion and such high negative influence from the Pleiadians. I'm really surprised by both of those readings. But yeah, it kind of explained a few things. But in the whole community, it's kind of taken for granted that Pleiadians are good guys, Orions are the bad guys. But it turns out that's
different. And everybody who studied this stuff, the first time they heard of Pleiadians, they thought, oh, humanity has a brother out there, has a family member out there in the galaxy there to help us. Somebody who's going to, give us a leg up when the time comes for us to expand off the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what we're seeing here, I just wonder if that's true, and I think, and I spent 10 years not questioning it. I thought, oh, right, great, because everybody's in agreement with that single fact that the Pleiadians are the good guys. They're here to help us, and they're their brothers. But from what we've been seeing this week, I really wonder if that's true or not.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of attacks and interference from the Pleiadians,
which is out of character. And I just think that we should talk with them, don't you?
Yeah, you just channeled Sophia and asked her about her. What did Sophia tell you?
She said that they own 4 planets and they're present on 130, whether it's clandestine infiltration, trade, or an open colony. Like it's there's different circumstances there, but they also have been booted off a lot of planets, she said, because like their intentions are not always pure. And when I stop to think about it, I'm certain that's true on Earth as well. Anyway, I've got some serious questions for the commander of Earth operations from the Pleiadians,
And one thing that Sophia told you is that Earth that in order for Earth to survive, needs to maintain a certain amount of humans on it. I was just curious about that. What's the real, like, that would be a different topic, but that's really a
Yeah, no, and that's not the thing that I'm focusing on either. She also said that the Pleiadians, if they really had their way, then us humans would be their pets. You know, they would maintain a population of humans, but you know, we would be there to grow the food and look after nature while they do all the important stuff.
basically they want to take the Draco's place, that they hold the power where they're peanuts.
Well, look, but at the same time, I don't think they are as nasty as the Draconians. I don't think their culture is based on eating our children in the way that it was for the Draconians, right? So, you know, the Dracos, they get less diplomacy time because their character just doesn't, you can't trust them with anything. However, the Pleiadians, like, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, like, there are some very serious questions on the table here. And I want to know, and all of us want to know, are they actually our friends or not? You know, I can't tell. The other thing of interest that Sophia said was that humanity is a very, very, not unique, but much minority in the galaxy, in that we Earth humans have the capacity to not only travel between multiple densities, but also have impact there and to assert our will across multiple densities. Now, that makes us as man to man, you know, one Earthling versus one Pleiadian, we are far more powerful than any of these species out there. And that's an area of investigation that we will have to follow up on, because right now it's, you know, it's very interesting, it's very exciting, and it does lead us to the place where we might actually be a key planet in this galaxy's operation. However, we're not there yet. We're not, like, that's a question for further down the track. Right now,
one thing I know is that one of our unique powers is or emotional power, and that's also power of influence. It's with the emotions, and that various people have been describing it that it's both a strength and a weakness.
Depending
on we have strong emotional capacity, but can be used against us.
To which the invading species on Earth have been made a sport out of it. They've perfected the art, you know, just turn on the news and watch them pull your streets. It's a joke.
And a lot of those other alien races, they do not have that range of emotions that we can experience.
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, look, you know, the reptilians only have the nasty end of the spectrum. You know, they're like a jailhouse gang at best, you know, and that's their emotional spectrum. The mantids who we were fighting have almost no emotional spectrum. They're they're literally very intelligent, but drones to an emotionally blank queen.
So yeah, there's a lot of things to investigate, but yeah, let's dive into that topic for today.
Yeah. No, look, well, anyway, we're just saying to our viewers, stay tuned, guys. There's plenty more revelation coming.
Yes, there's so many things to, like, the more we investigate, the more questions we have, and I want to make a whole list of other questions for you to channel on Sophia.
Yeah, well, look, yeah,
the first one just brings a lot more questions.
Actually, let's ask our viewership what they want to ask Sophia and what they want to ask the Pleiadian commander in the future. Because, you know, yeah, well, look, there's no reason we can't do this as many times as required, but, you know, type them in the, if you have one question, put it in the comments. If you have a series of questions, email them to me on a docx file, on a Word document, and party on from there. Yeah. So what do you reckon, bro? You ready?
Yeah, I probably would not do the Sophia channeling because I'm kind of too emotionally entangled.
No, you have a
channeling. You need to be detached from the target.
Yeah, you don't have a clean relationship with Sophia at all.
It's my daughter represents a huge.
Your daughter is an incarnated aspect at the same time you've been fighting this multi-dimensional monster for years.
That's it's like kind of an interesting situation.
One of a kind, bro. But
yeah, but yeah, doing good channeling, you need to be emotionally clear and detached from the target. The less you know about it, actually, the better it is.
You need to be totally indifferent. So
I know too much to be I know too much to be kind of like impartial.
Totally.
But I haven't done too much channeling lately. But I normally can do it, so I will try to do it with.
I'm in the same frame, mate. Like I used to be good at it, but I lost interest in it. You know, it wasn't the main game. I haven't developed that as far as I might have.
Okay, so so there's one Pleiadian commander who attacked one of her friends that I just catched him and sent him to tribunal. Is that the one we should be interviewing?
As much as we would like to do this full time, we still have personal lives and stuff going on in our houses. You know, it's like the hobby that will absorb as much time as you let it.
So is that the one we should be interviewing? It doesn't seem to be quite ready to talk much.
I'm picking up she's a captive within the Pleiadian. Like I said, like it's an authoritarian regime, and this particular Pleiadian lady, just follow me to where she's at. She's been pulled offline or captured for interrogation and re-education or something like that. And I reckon she's got the most to say out of anybody.
Oh, you found one that.
Yeah. Well, I just asked which Pleiadian's most willing to talk to us, and like she's it.
Okay.
You see her?
Oh, yeah. There are a couple of barriers.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are those barriers?
There's soundproofing for the interrogation room, or similar, so it can't be listened to.
So ask if we could go into a pocket dimension to be quiet for.
Yeah.
One. Okay. I see her vague. I cannot see her face though.
Because it's hooked up to something. She's got wires and stuff around her head. She's got like a apparatus on her head.
So okay. So what's your name? Now, I haven't done that too much. Like, there can be distortion, like lately.
So let me help.
I'll just go with it, see how it goes.
Let me help you position her properly in your body, because like there is a microphone area. There we go.
Okay. So what's your name? She says Aliza.
Okay, I'll just keep asking questions. So
okay. Yeah.
What's your rank in the Pleiadian forces here?
What's your rank? High Priestess.
Really?
High Priestess. High Priestess of the like a certain council with a fancy name. It's like High Priestess of a certain
kind of
like a kind of a certain religious group or sect. It's High Priestess of one of their factions.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
let her talk through you, mate. Let her talk through you.
Okay, I'll just turn my mind off.
Yeah. That's it. Now she's got space in there. Yep. Stay. Like, imagine your mind is a circuit board, and just withdraw your electricity. Withdraw yourself from 30% of it.
So I've been involved in the spiritual education of various planets and various indigenous groups.
I see. You work with the connection, but you work with networking different planetary groups. Is that right?
Working with. Can you repeat?
You're working with the pipes, the conduits of information between planets. Is that correct?
Conduit. More like they're more in the indoctrination of planets. On Earth, on Earth could be compared to the missionaries that being sent to America.
Right. Okay. So explain. So this is why the message that this. So let me just repeat the message that you guys share as I understand it. Right. It's your planetary brothers and sisters love you. You're going through a very special time. We'll be here to rescue you when it's over, and the ships will be landing in February. I mean July. I mean October, etc., etc. That's the basic message, is it? Or have I missed any part of it?
Could be said that way, that we're your brothers. We're here looking out for you, and I can count on us to that everything will turn out all right, and we'll be there to protect you.
But that's a lie, isn't it?
Well, it is more self-serving.
If I said that one of the tenets of your what's the word, of proselytizing of your message is for humanity to stay weak, to depend on you and not become strong itself.
That is the objective.
Why?
But it does not always work though.
And if I'm going to lead to the conclusion, is that so you can dominate us in the future?
Now and in the future. And what's also interesting is what happens when it doesn't work. And
well,
we get too strong.
What happens?
And we need to resort to other techniques,
Like
infiltration, mind control.
But you guys have already.
Soul swaps.
Say again.
Soul swap, replacing the soul of certain people.
Wow.
Either reprogramming the mind, shifting the souls, infiltrating in various ways.
But you guys have already been doing that. You guys have already enacted those policies, right? Those functions are already happening here on Earth.
That's the reason I'm saying that, is that this protocol has been activated on Earth.
How many agents are currently working here on Earth?
Between 3,000 and 4,000.
Sorry, how many?
3,000 to 4,000.
I think it's a lot more. I think you're lying to me.
Well, they operate in various ways.
How many soul supplantings? How many soul supplantings are you actually working with right now? How many human souls have you supplanted?
Okay, so 3,600 Pleiadians, aliens are working within the population.
So they're walking around as they're walking around as pretending to be Earth.
Pretending to be among us.
Mm-hmm.
But we also maintain a strong grip over the collective, and particularly in the thing that relates to religion or spirituality, to maintain control of those grids.
And the thing that you work with is to make sure that no human spiritualists ever have a backbone, and they're all softies.
Exactly.
So you're manipulating the human spiritual milieu so that it is weak enough for you to dominate as you choose.
Yes, well, that's what every farmer does, isn't it?
Are you farming us? What are you farming us for? Answer me, please.
Not sure I'm ready to answer a question yet.
Well, you're the one who related yourself to a farmer, and Earth as the farm. Humans as the farm animals, as the herd. So I'm going to suggest that one of your operations is body snatching and selling of slaves. Is that the case?
That is, there are those operations happening. Actually, just approaching the topic, there's some mind blocks that are happening, and that's part of the mind control technologies to insert mind blocks in certain areas around certain topics.
Yeah, but the image that comes in my mind is people getting on ships. And so this is Being told they're going to go on a ship to the west, to to Europe or the States or something like that, and instead they get taken off planet and sold in a sold at some asteroid market.
There is some of that, yes.
Right. Yeah, no, don't we love our alien brothers and sisters? What about human body parts? Are you guys interested in any of those? Are you guys selling any of those to other species?
Not the main. There are three main uses of slaves. One is as slaves workforce. Second is as genetic material, and the third, I know that Etienne talked about that recently.
Spell it.
They use living beings to produce immortality elixirs. And that in one of the movie that has been published on Earth, Jupiter Ascending, it explained exactly the situation, and that's really a huge business, particularly across the Pleiadian and Arcturian sectors, and across the universe. It's really a huge business.
Human juice is the best drug in the galaxy. Is that about the size of it?
Yes.
Wow.
And not only humans, but humans do produce a lot of juice. It's like
okay.
It's like juicy oranges. Some other oranges, it works when it's kind of dry, but those produce a lot of juice.
Okay. Are there any other species that are being juiced in the galaxy? Like you know the we call it. I'm going to use that word.
It happens on most of the planets where the Pleiadians or the Pleiadians or the Arcturians and also other groups where they have presence. It happens pretty much everywhere.
Right. So your expand. How long is your lifespan? I really got to ask because like it's conflicting information.
In your Earth years, ours is about 3,200 years.
That's the low end of the range. Did you say?
That's the normal.
That's the
normal
average.
lifespan. It would go from peasants would be more like 2,600. The average class and it would be more 3,200, and the priestess royalty it can go up to 3,600. And with the immortality elixirs, then you can prolong that to 40, 50, 60,000 years.
Wow. And out of curiosity, when do you come of age?
What do you mean?
Well, look, in different Earth cultures, at 18 or 21 or something like that, you get certain privileges allowed to you as an adult. When does that happen for your species?
About 52 years.
There you go.
Earth
Yeah.
time.
Because us humans.
I also have to consider that the time flows at different speeds in various sectors and on various planets.
Okay. Yeah, all right. No, so I get that. You have a different definition of what mature means. And so your time elixir, so the elixirs that you generate from harvesting us farm animals expand your life expectancy to 50,000 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, but that aspect it's kind of like on Earth there's black market, there's drugs and cartels, but it's kind of like it's an important faction. It holds a lot of, but it's kind of underground, and there's a lot of bigger.
Are you saying within Pleiadian culture this is overt, or is it a public secret?
No, it's very overt. It's kept underground.
It's kept what?
It's the black market.
Right. Okay. So even you guys can't keep track of all of the operations that you're doing here.
When I joined the ranks, as a pretest, go there, we get all the nice promises, and life is beautiful, and we'll share the truth, share the life, and help people ascend. But at some point, you get to learn the truth.
But yeah, look, it sounds like your culture, just like our culture, is all focused on creating privilege and longevity for a select portion of your people.
Yeah, privilege and longevity is what the Pleiadians are all about.
How boring! Like, sorry, that's the dumbest thing I've heard. Like, you guys have been traveling the galaxy and the multiverse tens of thousands of years, and that's the culture you came up with.
Yes.
Weak.
Yeah, on Earth, you have kids that are they're playing outside and having fun. They can play with animals and just have a good time with really not much. That's not something that exists in our culture.
You don't have that kind of freedom.
Don't have that kind of joy or emotional freedom.
So you guys are really quite serious then, are you?
I could say emotionally. Humans have a huge strength of their emotions that few people in the universe have. So compared to humans, the Pleiadians are a lot more emotionally dry. So a lot more pragmatic.
So most of your operations are like, is there a reason the Pleiadians have not opened a diplomatic office somewhere in the globe? Like, is there a reason why you didn't just buy a building and put a sign out the front saying Pleiadians are us, come say hi? Is it what would happen?
You can only hold power if you do it overtly. The most powerful people on Earth, you don't know their names, and they don't appear on any of the richest people list.
Yeah, no, it's I know the 13 families are. So real power can only be held covertly.
Yes.
Does it? Okay, so you're invading. This is like a slow invasion, is what I'm hearing.
Well, it's not really an invasion. It's about the Pleiadians have had partial control, insufficient control over Earth for very, very long periods of time. It's not like if we just go in and invade now. But the problem is that now the humans are getting too powerful, and they're really opening up their psychic ability and developing themselves in a way that really can shift the balance on Earth and across the universe. And that's why ancient protocols are being enacted to limit their disruption.
What you're watching is humanity coming of age, actually. What you're watching is humanity coming out of adolescence into adulthood and starting to look after itself. Now, I'm sure that your intelligence about the galactic features or the galactic clock that's striking 12 now, the celestial clock that's striking 12 now on planet Earth, you knew this was going to happen, right? You knew that right now is a very special time, and there was a very high risk that humanity would evolve.
Well, in our culture, we're educated that those cycles are there to serve us, and we can do whatever we'll always look at them as opportunities.
So you guys have, this is not your first rodeo, so you've had the chance to plan ahead and prepare for this time right now. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. And every time there are important celestial or cyclical events, then we always have a high level of interference and interventions in those periods.
You know how to
those are the ones that will establish the energies and the context for the next 26,000 year and more years.
So you know how to bend them to your advantage.
Yes.
How's it coming along? Like, how successful are you being right now, would you say?
On Earth?
Yeah.
So far, it's going extremely well. But there's been a lot of conflicting interest that everybody is trying to pull a blanket on their side. So we've had more interference from other groups than we expected.
Yeah, right. So do you think planet Earth's going to come out human culture is going to come out in a way, you're still projecting that it's going to come out to maximum advantage to you guys?
We would if some people would not stand in their way.
Are we some of those people?
Yes, if we've seen what your group have been doing in various sectors of the universe and the omniverse, and when you take responsibility to solve a problem, you do shift things on a pretty large scale.
So what if you had your way, what would you do with us? How would you deploy us, if at all?
The Pleiadians, what they first of all, there's way too many people on Earth, so the first step is to reduce the population to a more manageable level. I think a lot of groups agree with that, and some people are becoming too powerful, so we need to hammer down a little bit so that they stay at a more manageable level, so that we can own the structure of the corporations and governments, and the people need to follow along. So it's similar to what the Dragos had been doing, but we can do it. We can do it better and in a less aggressive way, in a more submissive,
Less problematic.
in a less problematic way that people would better accept, and would be a lot harder for them to challenge.
Softer domination, but domination nonetheless.
Yeah, the Dracos leave a power vacuum that we can perfectly fill and provide a much better situation that the people will absolutely embrace.
What about freedom? What
about
about
a solution of anything that's better than what they've had?
What about freedom for Earth humans?
Well, that would not benefit my people, or not. That will not benefit those in power in the Pleiadians.
I was really hoping that during this conversation that a way forward would be revealed where we can maintain a positive relationship with the Pleiadian group. Right now, what you're talking about is diametrically opposed to what our group stands for. And I think from what most of humanity would want.
I'll mention two more problems. As Etienne mentioned, the High Council of the Pleiadian Federation is completely corrupted. It's been taken over by those shapeshifters.
And they won't agree to anything that's agreeable to us humans.
But to be fair, those people were already corrupted. So those the people who were already corrupted, they were the easiest to take out and replace. So it doesn't. It just goes from bad to worse, but it doesn't actually change much.
Right.
It just more destabilizes what was already bad, which can be a good thing. The other thing is that 45% of the Pleiadians are in support of freedom.
So it's called self-determination when a country becomes
self-determination and the higher and God and the higher good. So nearly half of us actually support you in your journey towards genuine ascension towards God.
So what you're saying is that if humanity wants to have a positive relationship with the Pleiadian group, with the Pleiadian empire, I should say, then what would require is a cleanse or a purge through Pleiadian High Council. Is that what you're saying? Would that be the best path forward?
It could be dangerous for me to say that, but that will
Enough said. Enough said.
just watch who, just pay attention to who reacted. You can see 3 targets.
Oh yeah, I got them.
3 targets. These will be good leads to investigate.
Yeah, another tangent. Great. Why don't you just talk? How many planets have you worked on? You
personally?
Yeah.
6 planets.
And most of your work has been this kind of dream spell, illusion, not mind control, but this misrepresentation of the Pleiadian Empire to the locals.
Spitting lies.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I wanted to find a nicer way to say it, but yes.
You get hired as a high priestess, and after many years of service, then you just realize that you're spitting spiritual lies.
Cool. And so can you just talk about Earth humans in comparison with the other species that you've worked with? How would you rate us? And maybe you can say some things about the planet of Earth that make it distinct from other locations you've worked.
There's a lot of interference around me right now after we
said that.
Could you help me a little bit with that interference?
Yeah, I can see them clamping down on you. Yeah. You want us to do that now, eh?
Yeah, it could become dangerous.
Yeah, no, I get it's been dangerous for you, but there's nowhere to liberate you too. This drama is going to keep happening. Yep. All right. 1 down. 2 down. How's that? Is that better?
I lost the connection.
Shit. What do you reckon, mate?
Where is she? Or I think she needs to deal with.
She's got problems of her own right now because she told us the thing that could not be said. She gave us the pathway to deal with the Pleiadians for good, not for good, but for the betterment of our situation here on Earth.
Yeah, it's going to be, and yeah, there needs to be a cleansing of the leadership structure, but it's very delicate work. Maybe there's someone else that we could channel to have more information on that topic. I think there's
look, if you clicked on this video because it said the word Pleiadian in the title, what that means is you're probably aware of several other Pleiadian channels, because I'm sure there's a lot of them. Now, what we're looking for is a professional full-time person who's attuned and aligned themselves to the Pleiadians, who we can interview directly about this material, who is literally a loudspeaker for the Pleiadian message here on Earth. And you know, we want to have this conversation again with a clearer channel. Like Etienne's awesome, but it's not his specialization. And you know, I trust all the information there, but there's usually more to be had in these circumstances if you use a dedicated channel, a specific person who's specifically tuned to a being or a group.
I'm just measuring the efficacy of my channeling. I think I got 90% accuracy, but I'm not picking up all of the subtle details. Yeah,
look, there's detail that you don't get when you do this. I get it. And look, you're good, but at least we can accept their shortcomings. And I don't, but also, like, doesn't all of that statement just ring true? Doesn't it just make sense? Because as soon as I talked about the Pleiadian message, she goes, yeah, it's a propaganda operation. Of course it is. Isn't it obvious? Which I talked about the infiltration, yeah, and the clandestine nature of it. She goes, yes, of course, this is exactly how it is, which is stuff we all know, but we just don't talk about. Like, I think our spiritual milieu has been hoodwinked about these guys. and no guilt associated with it, because like you're talking about a species that has done this to hundreds of other species for thousands, tens of thousands of years. Like they're very successful. They've tuned it, they've honed it, they know exactly what they're doing. They understand how to respond to all of the, they had us, they outgunned us in the propaganda game 500 to 1 from the beginning. And this conversation, which is actually a little bit clear, a little bit, we've taken off the rose-colored glasses. We don't have stars in our eyes for this conversation. And we did find somebody who has been in the game long enough to be disillusioned by it. Like they're tired of what they're doing to other species. They're one of that, less than half of the Pleiadian species who think what they're doing is a joke. That their culture is actually devoted to, what's the word I'm looking for? Privilege. And like, what a joke. What a waste of a culture. Like, like an entire starfaring species devoted to making some of them feel special. Ooh, oh God, what a waste. What a waste. What pathetic ideals they are. If they had 10,000 years in infinite resources, what do they do with it? Not advance the entire galaxy, not try and halt the smothering of existence by pan-galactic demons. What do? They go, I just want to feel special. Didn't make me feel special. Pleiadian fucking scum. But I'm guessing that it's the situation is salvageable. There is something that we can work with. There is a portion of the Pleiadians that we can work with. And we have a pathway to making that so. Does that sound right to you, bro?
Yeah. Well,
look, like and subscribe to the channel, like all of that jazz. We have a Patreon, so please subscribe if you want to help us, help fund us. We are on a search for a Pleiadian specialist channel, and if you get this video, please contact them and tell them about us and what we're doing and how we need them. We would love to have a constant diplomatic line to the Pleiadians right now. We would love to have a dedicated ambassador to them, because this is a relationship that's, gently saying it, incredibly important to humanity's future. Like what happens with the Pleiadians is also what is how we relate, sets the scene for free Earth relating to the rest of the galactic milieu. So we want to get this one right, and having a clean ambassador, having a clear channel, having a direct line of communication, it's going to be important. Yeah.
Just have to mention that lately we've destroyed a lot of ships, a lot of planets, and a lot of strongholds, and blown a lot of stuff up. But with the Pleiadians, I got the instructions to hold back and not get involved for now. That needs to be solved in a more diplomatic manner.
Well, look, we've made war on, you and I have made war on bigger and nastier enemies than these guys, and we're still here to talk about
blowing them up to pieces would be easy, but making peace and building something out of it, that's something a lot harder.
Well, look, we'll call it a ceasefire for now, because like when we sort of clicked to what was going on, we did get attacks from the Pleiadians, and within our groups, I did try and dissuade people from fighting them and go, look, let's handle this differently. And if the Pleiadians are listening, why don't you bloody get your Pleiadian channels to contact us? Like, find the connection, get them to get in touch with us. There can be a path forward for our two cultures, but it's going to be done in truth and equality. And I won't settle for anything less. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I'm not someone who to settle for compromises. What?
I don't have a soft spot for them, as they would depend upon in all of their usual years.
One of the things it came up in your interview with Sophia was how she was saying that there was a big lack of discernment with the people being easy to fool, and both of us being fooled a bunch of times in a row. Now it's like it's getting really hard to fool us because we're not taking anything for granted.
This
But
is
when
not
it
our
comes to
first
making
rodeo.
agreements, and when it comes to making agreements and deciding the path forward for Earth, have a very, very strong, high level of integrity towards God, towards path forward, collective path forward, and it's not something that we're willing to compromise or take the easy road. It needs to be done in full integrity without compromises.
Well, look, yeah, totally. And I don't, the treaties, the agreements, the situations as they play out now are going to influence humanity for 50 generations. And I don't want to sell them out. I don't want them to be any less than at full sovereignty. Like Earth is going to be a self-determining planet, and it's going to use its skills and its powers to make the universe better, because deep down I have deep faith in humanity's choice for goodwill, individual to individual. We all want good for each other. And if we're an independent planet, that would be expressed on a galactic scale.
The humans have a very rich emotional range, a strong power of creation, wide range of emotions that are very rare to find among other species. There's a lot of disagreements about like what would be the future of Earth, but what I believe and what I'm hearing from God as the path forward, on one way it will become the new Federation of Light, the new stronghold, but on another way, the surface population will remain for humans, at least for the next 100 years.
And yeah, and I totally endorse both of those.
If other races, people from other places, want to have a word to say about Earth, then come incarnate on Earth like we do. If you incarnate on Earth, then you've got your word to say. But don't just come and invade us.
Then you can have a seat at the table. But you know, if you're just a garden variety, boring invader who's cowardly enough not to put your personal soul at risk, not to actually walk in the shoes of an Earth human and understand them well enough to be able to speak on their behalf, then get stuffed. You know, watching European culture expand around the globe, everywhere it went, the invaders, the locals mimicked their culture. They tried to become English or French or European or Spanish, as the case may be. They imitated them. And Earth humanity deserved better than being a photocopy or a simulacrum of the Pleiadians or the Arcturians or the Syrians or whoever the hell it is that's floating around. Self-determination and becoming seeing what's in the human heart and then giving it room and time to blossom and flower into the beauty it can be. That involves keeping Earth clear of other species, directly and clearly. And I know you've said it overtly, but I'm quietly hopeful that with the unique powers that us Earth humans have, that we do become the center of the galaxy, that we do become the New York of our galaxy. It'll be to be a cornerstone of the future federation of the galaxy. But time will tell. Yeah, and we'll just play our role in that, hey bro?
Yep.
Yeah. Here's to that. And thank you for the support of all the Earthlings here. Love to you all.